Hey guys, it's Desi. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a concealer for beginners video. So I wanted to do this because if you guys have seen, my previous video, which was foundation for beginners. This is actually the second part. So I do have foundation on right now because I always conceal over foundation, never under. Because if you under conceal, sometimes then you kind of like you have too much concealer on, so you have coverage of the concealer and then you have like full coverage foundation. So I always do foundation first and then see what else needs to be concealed. So the types of concealer, so you can do color correcting, which is like green, red, or purple, or peach, and all of that can be done under the foundation because you need it's more for like colors than like to like build coverage. It's just more like the color correct. So that can be done over because obviously you want to like hide like the green and all that stuff. But like a peach tone or yellow can be applied above because sometimes you want to neutralize redness around your nose or your eyes. And then there is multiple different covers. I know they have like powder concealer like Bare Minerals. I've never used that before, but I have used liquid and cream. Now you have to be very careful with cream because sometimes you can get one that's too like it's kind of like clay, like it's too dry, and then it cakes up and like it doesn't work very good. So make sure you always get a nice and creamy one. My favorite creamy concealer is the Maybelline Master Camo Color Correcting Kit. I have this in shade 200, and I love this, and I use my fingers for this because it really helps like warm the product and make it more malleable. But this is the only cream I like. I tried the Anastasia one that's a little too creamy, and then like the NYX one, which I used to love, is a little too drying. So like when you try to put it on, like it'll really like under your eyes, it'll really crease and cake up. So that's really not obviously what you want. So be careful with that. And then liquid concealer. I'm sure you guys have seen if you've seen other videos. I love the e.l.f. brightening like under eye concealer. That is in yellow. That is my favorite one. Cause like it brightens my eyes so much. It's a perfect liquid because it's like not too light of a color, not too dark of a color, and then it's not like too liquidy. It's perfect for under eyes and like around my nose. Obviously it's discontinued sadly now, so I move on to a different thing. But one thing with liquids, so if you depending on what product you get, so sometimes it's too liquidy where it doesn't cover it all. e.l.f. I've had that issue with before where it's too liquidy, so you can put on half the bottle and it doesn't there's no coverage at all. You can still, it still looks just like it was before. So sometimes you have to watch out for that. And then like color correcting wise, like sometimes if you get too dark of a yellow, it's gonna make your skin like look like bad, kind of like jaundice. Like it's gonna make it look just really deep, like your eyes look really deep and just not good. And then one thing to watch out, or another thing with liquid is say you have a darker skin tone. Sometimes for under eyes you want to use a lighter shade. Make sure it's not too light because you don't want like white and then dark. So always make sure you're not using too light or too dark of a shade. That's kind of like foundation too. Like you want to make sure you're using the right shade. Obviously you want a perfect shade for your like blemishes, but sometimes you want a lighter shade. So I'm gonna like demonstrate that now if that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I'm trying to like go through this, but it's hard because there's so many different types of concealer and like consistencies. But I'm going to use the cream contouring, that is my favorite. Cream contouring as well I love. But this is in shade 200. So if you guys see the conceal one, there's a light and then a darker one. So the darker one I just with my finger and I use that for up like on here, which is darker. So I put that you literally just tap it in. Now because my skin is not oily at all, well, every once in a while it gets a little oily, but it's not bad at all. I've never set my foundation or my concealer at all because I don't need to. Every once in a while I'll bake and like set my under eyes and stuff, but not as often. So if you have oily skin, make sure you set this. I probably should have said that in my foundation beginners too. Is make sure you set it, with a loose powder or whatever. Since I said I don't have very oily skin, I have not. I used to use powder, like just a setting powder, but I don't know a lot about them. So I might not be the perfect person to ask when it comes to setting like good setting powders. I know I love the Airspun and the Palladio rice powder setting powders. Those are great for under eyes and for baking. And like I said, sometimes I get really oily, like in the summer when it's really hot, sometimes I get oily, and those are the greatest for setting your skin without being too heavy. And same with the Anastasia contour kit, the yellow shade works perfect under the eyes too. But some, like Maybelline and CoverGirl, sometimes their powders are a little too much on the skin. But if you want like a more in-depth like powder, kind of like testing them out, since I haven't tested a lot out, the few I have tested I love, like I'm obsessed with, just let me know in the comments down below. So that's one thing that's hard to know, is like setting for your skin if you have dry skin, if you have oily skin. Since I've never had dry skin, I don't know like the best way to set it for dry skin. So I'm sure there's 10 billion other videos out there for that, but just let me know. So then for the areas over here which are a little lighter, because my forehead naturally is just darker, for one, I'm really tan. If you guys can see, like, I'm tan, which right now this looks really weird and white compared to my skin, but the sun's finally like over here, so I actually have my shades open. I'm going to take the lighter one and then put right here. So, and then just blend out, and this looks a little more natural than the dark one. The dark one looks too dark, and because it's that time of the month, I have breakouts. Otherwise, I rarely ever have breakouts. So the one thing I do, though, is I conceal under your eyes to help brighten too, and also dark circles, because during school is starting soon, so they're getting bad. And then sometimes if I use a medium, like I said, I just filmed my foundation after this, or before this, I just filmed the foundation beginners. So like I have like a full face of foundation on. Most days I don't wear foundation. So like the apricot or the peach really helps with like discoloration and redness. So this I like doing under my eyes first. And again, I drag it down. I always do like the upside down triangle. I always do right here, just because that really helps like brighten my under eyes, so they tend to get really dark. And then when so I always do that first. I don't know if you guys can see, this already looks brighter this eye than this eye. And I always bring it down here. And then if I'm not wearing any foundation, and I tend to have redness around my nose, I use the yellow shade. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I use this yellow shade up here, which is another correct, and that helps get away redness. So I really don't need it, but every once in a while after I wear this foundation, the redness starts to seep through. So I always put this around my nose, and then I bring it back up, and I bring it under my eyes too. So that way the peach concealed the dark circles, and now the yellow will brighten the eye. And the days that I do full glam and like a full like contour, highlight, everything, I definitely set my under eyes just because there's so much product under them. And right now it's like, what time is it? It's 4 o'clock, so like the sun's over here, but it's kind of cloudy. So like on camera, this looks like white and my face looks dark. So actually in real life, this actually blends perfectly. And the work of that underneath. And because the peach blends so well into the skin, the days that I don't want to highlight, I just want to do like a natural, like a quick, like 5 minutes, just, you know, quick, like running out the door, like for school, I always, like, I'll just use the peach, like, under my eyes and, like, down here to kind of help neutralize redness, and, like, along here. That's the greatest, when you're not using foundation, because it looks so natural, but then it covers so much. So it does look really good. And like I said, sorry, I do have a full face of foundation on because I normally conceal with foundation. If you want to see how I conceal, like, without makeup on, like, just, like, a quick 5-minute, go watch either, I'll link it down below, it's either, I have my 5-minute makeup routine and an easy foundation routine, and I think both of those I do that. I know my 5-minute foundation routine, I know my 5-minute makeup routine, I use, I have no foundation, I just use concealer, so go ahead and see that if you want to see how to conceal without foundation on, but this is strictly like with foundation. So if you guys can see, that definitely covered the dark circles and like any redness I had around my nose, but with foundation, luckily a lot of times redness is gone. You can easily use like a damp beauty blender to help with all this. Sometimes that works better for blending, what I found is like the damp beauty blender sometimes takes away too much product, and then it's like you're back to nothing. Like it absorbs too much, so that's why I like using my hands. That's what I'm showing you with my hands. But with the beauty blender, easily you do the same thing, put it on with your fingers, but then just like blend it up and back, because you want to make sure you don't get any creases, so you want to blend both ways. Same thing I'm doing with my fingers, just with the beauty blender. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe.